Hey Robert, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am doing well. I appreciate your time joining. I know I've listened to your podcast a couple of times and really enjoy it. But for those who don't know, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my background is actually I started as a motocross racer and I was going that route. I almost went professional and had that dream dashed when I was 14, about a year and a half out from actually turning pro as an ATV motocross racer, and then stumbled into the world of finance, ended up going to school for finance, worked in the corporate world for a bit, and then ultimately quit my day job, my W-2 9 to 5, and host a podcast full time, invest in real estate full time, do a couple different entrepreneurial ventures full time. But that's pretty much my background.
That's awesome, and we're about the same age, and both also just left our day job to chase the podcasting and the investing dream. So it's kind of why I'm really excited to have you on this podcast. Or the Successful Millennials, kind of we talk about the five major categories: money, happiness, relationships, career slash purpose, and then overall physical and mental health. I think are the five overall categories that everybody needs to strive for to be successful in. And I'm always curious to ask the guests how they rank them in terms of their importance.
Yeah, it's tough, but I think I would rank them as happiness first, then physical and mental health second, money as three, relationships four, and career and purpose five. And the only caveat I would have to that is I think one through three are, for me at least, very interchangeable. I could have put any one of them first, any one of them second, any one of them third, because I personally believe, happiness I ranked as number one. That's what I personally think is the definition of success. But
Mhm.
I don't think you can achieve that happiness without physical and mental health. So should physical and mental health go above happiness or below it? And then the same thing for money. I personally believe that money plays a huge role in happiness. I'm not saying that money equals happiness, but I think money does help provide a lot of happiness, mostly just in the terms of reducing stress or allowing you to do certain things, allowing you to achieve certain goals that you might have. And the reality is, I have a lot of people that say to me that, they don't care about money. And I get that, but it takes money to do anything in this world. So from that perspective, if you let's just say your big dream is to have a foster care to help kids, or something for pets or dogs to have a shelter or something along those lines, as nonprofit, you just want to help people. All of those things take money. And so I
Mhm.
don't think the money is the end all be all, but I do think money is really important to achieve happiness. So one through three are pretty interchangeable for me. That doesn't mean relationships and purpose aren't important too, but for me, those three are the top three.
Yeah, I totally agree. Money, I have happiness last because I feel like you need all four in order to be happy, but it is the true overall success metric. Because what's the point otherwise if you're not happy with your life? So I totally agree with that. But when you're talking about money and talking about trying to build that, you have a strategy that's more long term and more like based on fundamentals. I'm talking about both your investing strategy in the market as well as the real estate. And in today's kind of like go environment and people our age, we know time is our best factor, but we're also very impatient. So how do you kind of combat that to stay long term focused
For me personally, or for other people?
for you personally?
For me personally, honestly, it's really easy. It just it's just something that I do. It's just innate in me. It's just the way I am. And Buffett has a quote that says he can explain value investing to somebody and they either get it right away or they don't. And for me, it's just something that I get, and I'm not saying I'm smart or special or anything. It's just that it just makes sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me to think short term and do all these like little day trading or meme stock type investments that a lot of people do
Mhm.
around our age. So for me, it's really easy. People talk about FOMO and all of these different things. And for me, it's really easy. It's just something that it's part of me. And Charlie Munger talks a lot about how it's easy for him too, because it's just part of who he is. And so I think for me, it just truly is who I am from the inside out. I really do always think long term. And so that's sometimes why I have a difficult time explaining to somebody how or why they should think long term, is because it just is for me. It's there's no real reason or anything like that. I just believe in it. It's just who I am. And so to try and convince somebody otherwise from what they're thinking is tough.
Yeah, No, that's fair. And how, so that leads to the next question. How important is it for you to know who you are as a person in order to be a better investor, whether it be market or real estate?
I think it's everything.
And how did you find that?
Just kind of stumbled into it, honestly. When I first started studying investing, I actually got started because I found an ad on Facebook years and years and years ago, probably a decade ago now, for a day trading program. And I started to research it. I started to look into the guy. It all I was 14 at the time, so it's 12 years ago now. And, as a 14-year-old who just had to give up his dream because there wasn't enough money, it really spoke to me because it said that you're going to get rich overnight. And so I was super excited about it, but then I researched and learned a little bit about it and I was like, this just really doesn't make sense. Like, how can you teach all these people to get rich overnight? If that was true, every single person in the world would do it. And two, if it was true, he wouldn't be teaching other people to do it. He would be doing it himself. And so the reality was, I realized that a lot of these guys that teach this type of stuff are actually making more money from teaching than they are from actually doing what they're teaching. And so that led me to, thankfully, I never purchased any courses or spent any money day trading or anything like that. But it did lead me to the investing world in general. And of course, once you dive into the investing world, you can't be involved without hearing of Warren Buffett. And so I started to study him and his philosophy and how he invests and his principles around life and business just really, really stuck with me. And it's just how I found it, I guess, is it just really resonated with me. And it's just how I've been for the last decade plus.
Nice. And then what got you into real estate? Was it a diversification play? I know a lot of people kind of wait until after they've made their original seed money, if you will, and more, and then start to diversify. It seems like you're kind of trying to build both at the same time, which is awesome.
It was completely luck. So I knew that I wanted to get into real estate at some point. I always knew that really wealthy people all were invested in real estate. So I figured at some point, if I wanted to build true wealth, that I should be involved in some capacity or the other. And again, this is when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. So I didn't have any money, so I didn't think I could do it. I always thought, all right, well, I really like this stock investing thing. So I'll make all my money stock investing. Then once I have my wealth from that, I'll put that into real estate and scale from there. But what
Mhm.
ended up happening was when I was going into college, my father told me that when I graduated, I'd have to start paying him rent if I still lived at his house. I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. I thought that was relatively fair, but I really didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have to pay him rent. So I told him and all my friends and family that I was going to buy a house when I graduated college. Everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody laughed at me because, who's this kid? First one in his family to ever go to college. Nobody in my family's ever made any types of investments or really even purchased houses at this point. So it just really didn't seem possible to them. And so that lit a fire under me even more than I already had. And so I worked really hard all throughout college, saved as much money as I could, bought my first house when I was a senior in college. And I didn't do that as an investment. I didn't see that as I'm jump starting my real estate. I'm just, I somehow found a way that all these wealthy people need to be rich to do it, but I found a way to do it myself. It wasn't like that. It was more just, I don't want to pay my dad rent, so I'm going to buy something and just pay a mortgage instead. So I did that, and then I started to lived there for about 2, 3 months, and I realized that the other bedroom that I had in the house never got used. I didn't even open the bedroom door. And so I ended up renting that bedroom out for about 700 or $750. And my total cost with mortgage, insurance, taxes, HOA fees, etc., was about 1,000 to 1,100. So I was living for very cheap, like three, four, $500 a month. After about 6 months to 9 months of that, I realized, well, I can't be the first person that's ever thought of this. I'm not that smart. So I started to research it and I found, of course, Bigger Pockets, this strategy called house hacking. And because I stumbled onto Bigger Pockets, I found thousands and thousands of other people that were just like me who were investing in real estate. They didn't have any more money than me. They weren't any special or more special than me. They didn't have any skills I didn't have or couldn't learn. So that really took down every limiting belief that I had about real estate. And that was the day that the light switch flipped for me. And I realized that I could become a real estate investor. I didn't have to wait until I made all my money in stock investing first. And so that's how I got started in real estate.
Nice. And do you like spend time worrying about market fluctuations and being a very volatile time right now, or that it might crash when you're looking at analyzing a real estate property for your next investment, or kind of walk us through how you look at an investment? Because it's different than when you a house that you want to live in.
So when I was younger, this goes back to when we were what we just talked about, how people deal with being short-term focused or long-term focused. At first, when I first started investing, I was pretty short-term focused. I was worried about, I thought I could time the market and all this. And then as years and years went on, I realized that one, you can't think short-term and have good results, and two, you can't time the market. So it took me a long time to realize that. And so for a few years, probably 2 or 3 years, I didn't buy any real estate because I thought the market was really hot. And this was back in 2016, 2017 timeframe. And then I don't know really what happened. I just a light switch flipped, I guess, and I just realized that, the time is never going to be right. The time is never going to be perfect. You're never going to be able to time it. And so I decided that anytime the numbers make sense on a deal, I'll buy it. And so that's how I've operated now. And it's the same in stocks or real estate. If I find a good investment that I think is going to do well over the next 10 years, if the value is there, I'm not going to overpay for something, but if I think the value is there, then I'll buy it. It doesn't matter where we're at in the cycle. And the same thing goes for real estate. If the numbers make sense, then I'm willing to buy it. And so we're in a very heated market right now, as a lot of people would think. And I just bought 3 rentals in the last quarter or so. So if the numbers make sense, I'm always willing to buy now.
Nice. And what makes the numbers make sense for you? Is it the amount of units? Is it the location? Like if you're somebody to get started today, what are the few things that you'd look at that were trying to grow a portfolio? What would they look at in the house?
It depends on if you want to do single family or multifamily, but assuming that you have the asset class decided in terms of what you want to invest in. So for me right now, I'm focused on single family houses in a small Texas market. So I already have that defined. From there, I need to hit certain benchmarks. I need to have a certain cash on cash return, and I need to have a certain um, cash flow per door. Those are the two big things that I'm looking at. So I need to make a certain amount of money per month per door, and I also need to have a cash on cash return.
Okay, cool, cool. And right now we have a question from one of our guests listening. Guys, remember, if you want to ever ask something so we can ask future guests, email me at finanzilla@gmail or DM me on Instagram. But this one comes from Hamoud, and he wanted to ask, what is the best way to get the max value on a sale of a house? I don't know how much you deal with the actually selling your properties versus renting long term, but figured you'd be the good person to ask, Robert. And he's saying, what is the best way to get the max value? Is it via OfferUp? Is it via promotional companies like that? Or is it realtors? Or is it just a for sale by owner in this type of market right now?
In this market right now, I mean, you could pretty much do anything and get the highest offer for the most part. The market is quite crazy right now. In general, though, I mean, it's pretty standard stuff. You want to have a good real estate agent. You want to make sure the property is in great condition. You want to make sure you have great photos. Photos are huge. Everybody these days is finding the houses that they want online. So you need to have really, really good photos. Make sure the house is clean and organized, and just basically make it as presentable as possible. And there's a Bigger Pockets book on this. It's called How to Sell Your Home, I believe. And yeah, I mean, in today's world, it's pretty standard. I think you just kind of make it look good, make it applicable to what people want, make it fit what people are looking for these days in terms of design and also usability. So, a lot of people like modern open concept type properties today. Try to do what you can in that realm. But basically, in today's market, though, you can pretty much do anything and get what it's worth, if not more.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely don't feel like you're scared to pay that staging fee to a realtor so that they can take good pictures, because they definitely know the angles and everything needed for the consumers. That's what I did when I sold my house a couple months ago. So I agree with that advice for sure. I like to ask all my guests on what kind of inspired them and made them learn more, whether it be books and podcasts. I know you mentioned Bigger Pockets multiple times. I'll obviously have a link to that in the show notes. But whether it be Warren Buffett's advice or YouTube channels, anything that you can kind of help share with the audience that they can also start their journey.
Yeah, Buffett has been probably the biggest impact on me. And to learn about him, there's so many different ways. You could read his shareholder letters, which are great, but they're a little bit detailed for specifically stock investors. There's some books about Buffett's life. even if you're not a specific stock investor, there's a lot that you can learn from Warren Buffett and his principles and how he lives his life. So any book really, Snowball is one about Buffett that's really good. There's a bunch more about Buffett and his life that I think are really, really good. And then I read a ton. I love to read books, and so books have probably been the biggest impact on me, and podcast, of course. I'm a little bit biased there, but I've listened to podcasts for probably since 2015 now, so 5, 6 years, and those have had a huge impact on me as well.
Nice. And speaking of podcasts, where can they listen to you?
Yeah, so I have a podcast that has two different segments. One is called Millennial Investing, which drops on Wednesdays, and then I also have Real Estate 101, which is on Mondays. And you could just search in your favorite podcast player for either of those. Should pop up on any way that you search. We're on YouTube, our website, etc.
Nice. And if they just want to connect with you and learn more about your motorbiking and your BMX or your other travels, where can they find you?
Yeah, the best place to find me is on Instagram or Twitter at the Robert Leonard, and that's pretty much where you can find me.
Awesome. I appreciate your time, Robert. Thank you so much. And hopefully we get to continue to follow your journey.
Thanks so much for having me.